Hey guys, it's Charlie here. Welcome back to another video. If you're in Australia where I am, happy holidays. Obviously I've finished school now, which is really great. I'm gonna have a nice good break for 7 weeks. So that's gonna be good. Throughout this week I was thinking of doing some reviews. On Friday, I'm going record shopping, so I'll get a record collection update, which is going to be great. Next week, you probably won't get any videos because I'm going up north. Because come on, guys, it's holidays, and that's what we do. So that's going to be pretty cool. So throughout the rest of the week, you'll get a few videos, and Christmas week you probably will as well. So let's dive into things. Before I start, I just wanted to talk a bit about my Spotify Wrapped that I got this year. At the end of every year, for those who don't use Spotify would know. Just for your information, Spotify gives you a Wrapped thing. It's like the artists and songs that you've been listening to the most this year and some other things that happened along the way. Obviously, this year for a lot of people hasn't been the greatest in terms of life because of COVID and pandemic and all that stuff. We won't get into that, but I have had a really good time with albums, discovering lots of new artists and getting into things that have made quite a few fun memories. So seeing my Spotify Wrapped was pretty cool because it played a montage of all the songs I've been loving this year, so that's great. My top 5 artists, 1 to 5, I'll just throw them to you. Number 1, Megadeth. Number 2, Iron Maiden. Number 3, Metallica. Just showing you that. Pretty cool. Number 4, Nickelback. Yes, I know. Another interesting thing is on this 15th anniversary edition, it's got the live show from Buffalo Chips, Sturgis, South Dakota, August 8th, 2006, which they added on for this 15th anniversary expanded edition. And one of the things I got on my Spotify Wrapped was that I listened to the live version of Someday from this album. If you're a Nickelback fan, you all know that song. Before it hit 50,000 streams, so that's good. Always good to fly the flag high for the bands you love. And number 5, I don't have anything to show you from them, but they're the band who I recently did an album ranking on. Go and check that out. Number 5 was Diamond Head. So, yep. So a lot of great artists that I've been listening to throughout this year. Through the rest of the week, I'm listening to my 5 favorite albums from each of those bands. So that's going to be really good. Just to kind of, obviously, after a really long year, just sit back and not worry about what's the next Anthrax or Slayer or album you need to listen to, except all those bands that I'm still getting into. So that's lots of fun. But one thing I did pull out to review is not from one of those artists. It's from an artist that probably would have been in the top 10, Judas Priest, and specifically this album, Ram It Down. So today I'm going to be doing a review on this album. For those who are new to the channel, when I review an album, I list background information at the beginning, go through all the songs, review them track by track, and then give my overall thoughts at the end, rating out of 10, and also list my top 5 favorite songs from the album. So, Ram It Down. This is Judas Priest, and if you see me looking down here, I just got my notebook with all the notes that I write down for these reviews. This is Judas Priest's 11th overall studio album. It came out in 1988. For the lineup, you've got Ian Hill on bass, Glenn Tipton and KK Downing on guitars, Dave Holland on drums, and of course Rob Halford on vocals. This was the last album to feature Dave Holland on drums. However, he actually doesn't really appear on the album at all because one of the things that a lot of people criticize about this album, and I think it's one of the reasons that this is one of the Judas Priest albums a lot of people like to make fun of, is that the drums are electronic, so Dave barely appears on the album at all. Rest in peace to him. He passed away a couple of years ago, so yes, he rest in peace. So ran it down. Like I said before, this and Turbo, a lot of people lump them together. Those are kind of the two albums a lot of Priest fans kind of like to crap on a bit and say they're not good. Obviously, this album comes in between Turbo 1986 and Painkiller in 1990, and it's kind of a mixture of both of them. So obviously, Turbo, they were really going for a real commercial sound, because it was kind of like the glam hair metal era, whatever you want to call it. And obvious, so they were kind of starting to move in a more heavier direction, but there's a lot of synths, like I said, electronic drums. Also, the songwriting is very reminiscent of the glam metal era, so that's one of the things about this album that's really notable. But obviously, they were trying to get a bit heavier towards Painkiller. There are definitely some Painkiller elements on this album, but they would come into full place on the album that followed. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the songs. Track one, the album starts off with the song Ram It Down. This is kind of the big song from the album. So got a really great scream from Rob Halford at the beginning. That's pretty cool. Then it breaks into the riff, really fast song, really with a really fast riff. Great guitar solos from Glenn Tipton and KK Downing. Lyrical themes, which I'll talk about a bit. It's a heavy metal anthem, and in fact, there are a lot of songs on this album that are about playing heavy music. I think maybe that's one of the things they were trying to do to become a little bit heavier and move away from the turbo sound. So that's pretty cool. So really cool, really great song to open up the album. Like I said, awesome guitar solos from Glenn Tipton and KK Downing. That's really cool to listen to. On the next one, track two. Like I said, a lot of the songs on the album are about playing heavy music, and the second song on the album is called Heavy Metal. Got a nice little guitar solo intro. Then breaks into the mid-paced riff. This is more of a mid-paced anthem. Judas Priest are really good at doing that kind of things. They've got the really heavy songs, and off like Rapid Fire and Breaking the Law and Sentinel, Free Wheel Burning, all that kind of thing. And I've also got lots of really great anthems like Living After Midnight, United, Devil's Child, You've Got Another Thing Coming, all that kind of thing. So this is kind of more of a mid-tempo anthem. Rob Halford's vocals on the song are very good, but I mean, he's Rob Halford, so most of the vocal performances that he does are very, very good. So yeah, kind of a cheesy song, but still pretty cool. Really great riff. So yeah, very enjoyable song. Track three, it's another kind of cheesy one, but still a pretty good song actually. Not one of the greatest Judas Priest songs ever, but not a bad song either. It's called Love Zone. It's got an electric drum intro before breaking into the riff. I think the riffs are pretty good. Rob Halford's vocals are really good. It's another anthemic one, kind of upbeat, so that's pretty cool. Track three, Love Zone. Wow, this album's full of anthems. So number four is Come and Get It. Another mid-tempo one. The riffing on this song is really good. Really great stuff. Rob Halford sounds great on it. The lyrics are about playing heavy metal music, just like the title track and heavy metal. But really great anthem. Great song. So come and get it. Track five. So we've gone through a few anthems. Now let's move into some of the really fast and heavy songs. This is a song that could definitely find its place, and wouldn't sound out of place on Painkiller, the following album, Hard as Iron. Blistering fast riff at the beginning, which is really cool. So yeah, a song that would definitely sound like it could go on Painkiller. Obviously, the drums are electronic, so one of the things that made Painkiller a real return to form was that obviously this is the last album with Dave Holland, so and after this we got Painkiller, which brought in Scott Travis, and this album is electronic drums, and Painkiller has which has Scott Travis on it for the first time, has a tremendous drum sound. So yeah, that is one thing that could make this album better, but more on that later. So Hard Design, really great song, awesome fast one. Yeah. Track 6, got one of my personal favorite songs. This is definitely a top 10 to 15 Priest song of all time for me. It is, of course, Blood Red Skies. This is the longest song of the album. It clocks in at under 8 minutes long. Sorry, guys, I'm just a bit tired at the moment, which is why I may be repeating myself a bit, but that's okay. It starts off with a quite acoustic intro, with Rob Alford just singing, so that's really cool. With a quiet intro, then the electronic drums kick in, it breaks into a great riff. This album, on this song, the lyrics are not about heavy metal music. They are about fighting, standing up for yourself, never surrendering, all that kind of thing. I'll fight you under blood red skies. Okay, guys, we're not being frenzy here. So yeah, uh, really great vocals from Rob Halford. He hits lots of really high notes in this song. A lot of keyboards are used here. So that's pretty cool. I think it fits the song really well. Really awesome song, kind of a semi-power ballad. Well, it's not really a ballad, but yeah, track 6, Blood Red Skies. Now getting into the least memorable song on the album for me, definitely. I'm a Rocker. It's kind of a short song. Mid, uh, the chorus is okay. Lyrics are about rock and roll. So yeah, track 7, I'm a Rocker. Not terrible or anything, but nothing to write home about if you ask me. Track 8. Now this is one of the reasons a lot of people ridicule this album big time, and it's a song that lots of Judas Priest fans like to make jokes about. It is, of course, the Chuck Berry cover, Johnny Be Good. This is actually on the soundtrack to the 1988 Johnny Be Good movie, which I'd never really heard of up until this point. I heard of it in a Sea of Tranquility video where they talked about really bad cover versions of great songs, and Chris talked about this one, so that was pretty funny. One thing I will note is that that movie stars Robert Downey Jr., so that's pretty cool. One of my thoughts on Johnny Be Good, I don't actually dislike it. The riff is pretty good. It's pretty silly, but I don't mind it. I've got a soft spot for it. I mean, I'm a guy who really likes cheesy songs, so I'll give you that. Track 9, getting into a song called Love You to Death, kind of an anthemic one. It's a little faster. I think it's got a drum intro. I don't actually remember, which is funny because I just listened to the album. Riff is pretty cool. I love the chorus, and a really great outro, speedy outro with Rob Halford screaming, hitting lots of high notes. So that's really good. Love You to Death. Track 9, and the last song on the album is called Monsters of Rock. This is definitely the slowest song on the album. It's kind of a doomy song. It opens with this hammer and anvil sound effect. Before the electronic drums kick in. The riff from Glenn Tipton and KK Downing is pretty cool. Really kind of dark song, kind of dark and slow and doomy, which is really great. So very cool song to close out the album. So that's all 10 songs on the album reviewed. Now time for my overall thoughts. So I think a lot of very strong tracks on this album. It's a good cross between the glam metal sound of Turbo and the Painkiller, really blistering heaviness of that thing. A lot of the metal anthems are great because Judas Priest do a lot of anthemic stuff. I think I said it in my record collection video when I showed you this, which I picked up, and also Screaming for Vengeance, which is up there on the shelf. You probably can't see it. Obviously, Priest are one of those bands that can really exude pure heavy metal. They've got the fast, really heavy ones, and also a lot of great anthems. A lot of anthems on this album. Riffs are great, especially in Blood Red Skies and what were the other ones? The title track and Love Zone, all that kind of thing. So a lot of really awesome riffs. But of course there are lots of great riffs because it's heavy metal and that's what it's all about. I think the one thing that I do think this album could do without is the electronic drums. I think if you got Scott Travis to redo the drums and kind of remaster it, I think you'd have a really good album here because, like I said, of this, Scott Travis joined the band for Painkiller, which has a tremendous drum sound. I think that would definitely make a big difference to how heavy this album is, and I think you'd have a very, very strong album if you got Scott Travis to redo the drums, and it'd be a lot less generic sounding. So, as for rating, I give it an 8 out of 10. So very solid stuff. Top 5 songs. Blood Red Skies, the title track. 2 top 10 to 15 Priest songs of all time. Monsters of Rock, Come and Get It, and Hard Design. But most of the songs on this album are pretty good. The only really weak one, I'd say, is I'm a Rocker and the kind of silly cover of Johnny B. Good, which I do have a soft spot for. But, I mean, love it or hate it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, very strong album overall. Definitely doesn't deserve the hate it gets from a lot of people. Thanks very much for watching. Running out of breath. Quite tired at the moment. Been quite a long year, and also the weather's a bit draining because if you're over here in Australia, it's going to be getting very hot. Ooh. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'll probably review another album, do a record collection update on Friday after shopping. So I'll see you later.